Okay, so now I wanted to discuss another aspect of our product line that's actually expanding. We're going to be having a couple of new products very soon in this, what we call our infused line. The technology behind them is very similar to the colloidal technology, whereas we're utilizing the frequency of certain substances to create a reaction in the body. So it's a like stimulates like, or like cures like. And unlike our other colloidal formulas that are more general, powerful, but overall tonics to the entire system, we have two very specific products, one for the Candida and one for nicotine. These are two very real, very big problems that we have in our society. Let's, Dr. Devin, please, let's talk about Candida and how this product can help.
Yeah, Candida is an issue that a lot of people are experiencing the symptomology of, but may not necessarily have diagnosable systemic Candida. There's a lot of controversy on this particular topic from a scientific perspective. So when you think over the last 50 years, what has been introduced to our, food, so we have this extreme amount of carbohydrates, so high levels of sugar getting into the body, lifestyles out of control, if you would, this raging thing with diabetes and obesity, now called diabesity. I mean, yes, Candida can be a part of that issue, but more importantly, it's really the frequency and the information that as a company we're trying to address here. Because it's been my findings as somebody who does practitioner and having done several types of live blood cell testing that I really dispute the fact that whether you can really test that or not, especially in microscopic work. I mean, really you need a fecal sample
Yes.
to get very clear. But the essence of it is that, there's a lot of parasitic activity that we get stressed with every day. I mean, if you go out to eat a lot, then at some point in time, in any given week, you've been exposed to any number of degree of difficulty in food poisoning.
Right.
And so that may manifest as nauseous, bloating, gas, all the symptoms you read about for Candida, stiffness of joints, brain fog, weeping eyes, any number of different things. So knowing that that's a big issue for most people on the planet. I mean, if you're living on the planet, you're breathing and you're eating food, this is going to be a problem. But we wanted to address it from a couple of different areas. So we have some herbs in here. We also have a homeopathic extract of these very specific species of albicans. So now we're taking it to a whole nother level, not unlike homeopathy that most people can understand. So like curing like. So if we can remove the offending frequency and vibration, then a person is less susceptible to feel the symptomology of what may or may not be Candida.
Right, understood. And also to add to that with the Candida issue, it's kind of like if you taken antibiotics for any amount of time, extended amount of time, and you basically destroyed the probiotic or the bacterial balance of your intestines, then you're much more susceptible not only to something like Candida infecting your intestines, but like you mentioned,
right.
Yes, whether it be E. coli or parasites or any of those types of things. And so what's funny when you say bloating or gas, that's basically, most people have that experience every day, all day.
Right. We call it dysbiosis.
Dysbiosis, exactly.
Is really what the issue is, that people are experiencing. But some practitioners, there was a book written a while back, and everything's Candida, because it's all expressing the symptomology, and then there's another one to refute that. But rather than split hairs there, it's like, okay, how can we deliver information once again to the body that will resolve this issue of dysbiosis, this issue of Candida? And because anybody who's eating any kind of carbohydrates right now probably is developing a glucose intolerance. And now our, cancer cells, and again, I'm speaking generally here, a cancer cell is moving away from being able to replicate from oxygen and now moving to glucose receptor sites on the cancer. Okay, so we know how to fight cancer, we're going to take out oxygen. And the cancer goes, oh yeah, watch this. You're taking in
Now I'll
so
eat
much
sugar,
sugar and
yeah.
so much, insulin response in the body. Now we're going to activate those cancers. And I attended a seminar up in Salt Lake City that one of the doctors there was talking about the cascading of cancer and activation of certain cancers. I mean, there's fast-growing cancers, slow-growing cancers, and it's really turning on specific genes or turning those genes off. But epigenetics is showing us that we're not necessarily, have a challenge or imprisoned by our genetics. But if we give it the right information, structured in the right way, so we have some incredible herbs in here. So we're looking at black walnut, we're looking at Paul Diarco, two of my really favorite. And then we have these extracts that have been done homeopathically, energetic frequency vibration, as opposed to like a vaccine where you would introduce a live vaccine or a dead vaccine, and that can cause all kinds of challenges. So you have to have something to hang that energy and information on, and vaccine makers like to use mercury, of all things. Why, I don't know. But that's regardless of the point. So we have kind of a best combination of the brilliance and wisdom of these incredible herbs that not only will take care of candidas, but we have a lot of exposure to a lot of parasitic stuff. People dealing with ringworm, any kind of, if you travel out of the country, what you may have been exposed to, Giardia, protozoans. And if you think about it, we have 55 trillion plus cells in our body, eavesdropping on your every thought, your every behavior, every morsel of food you're putting in your body. And not only that, you have 200 trillion microorganisms in the body. So that's a lot to orchestrate and a lot to protect and a lot to keep alive. The cool thing is, these guys are all about staying alive. They want you to stay alive, so they're going to send you in that direction of Krispy Kreme donuts, and you're going to want that glazed donut. So they have a brain and they have an output, and they put that information out. So now you eat a sugary thing, or you reach for that sugary cocktail, and now you're taking it in, and it's having a deleterious effect in the body. And this is just an absolutely stunning, elegant, brilliant way to help support the body's ability to fight off and deconstruct these sugar cravings, which look like candida.
Yes, absolutely. And it's the same with the nicotine is herbs for the lungs, herbs for detoxifying the lungs, supporting breathing and things like that.
Especially the redox cycle from smoking and
yes.
Oxidative stress.
Yes.
But the brilliance is what you've done next with the nicotine.
Yeah, when we were able to stabilize the energy imprint, the frequency, the signature of nicotine. So when you use infused nicotine, I like to use it when I travel, because if I'm going to go 10 hours, and or people traveling, especially these long distances, by the time they haven't had a cigarette for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, things go crazy. Whereas if they utilize, right before you get on the plane, and you wait until you a few hours into it if you have a craving, because what it'll do is that your body will feel like that it got nicotine, so the craving goes away, but you actually didn't take in any nicotine, so it's not adding to your addiction. It's kind of fooling the body
Right.
into thinking it's getting nicotine, and plus there's nicotine and nicotine detoxifying herbs as well as lung supportive herbs in the formula as well.
Which is really a brilliant concept when you think about it with the nicotine, is that, so here's a cell, and the cell would normally have the nicotine going in, but we're just giving the energetic, and the cell thinks it's getting it. So just that fact alone reduces your need for the actual chemical called nicotine. And again, I want to be very clear here, we're not treating, curing, or mitigating any disease. This is informational purposes only, and there's a very strong possibility that one of the incredible side effects from using our products is that you'll have optimal